Welcome to our in-depth study of Revelation 12, 1-17. In this series, we will explore each verse in detail using the King James Bible, cross-references, and a Mid-Acts 9 right division perspective. You will see the cosmic conflict between Christ and Satan, understand God's protection of his covenant people, and gain a deeper understanding of his plan. Prepare your heart and mind as we journey through these powerful passages together. Verse 1 in teaching, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars." This woman represents Israel, the faithful remnant chosen to bring forth the Messiah. The sun shows her divine glory and righteousness. The moon under her feet symbolizes her authority above worldly powers. And the 12 stars signify the 12 tribes of Israel. Cross-references include Genesis 37:9, which shows Joseph's dream with sun, moon, and stars representing God's people. This vision confirms that God's covenant promises to continue to unfold and establishes the foundation for the cosmic conflict described in the remainder of Revelation. 12. Verse 2 and teaching, "And she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered." The woman's travail signifies Israel and the faithful remnant enduring persecution while awaiting the Messiah. The birth represents Jesus Christ, the man-child who will bring salvation. Cross-references include Isaiah 66:7-8, which describes a woman giving birth as a symbol of God's unexpected salvation. Her pain illustrates the necessary struggle before the fulfillment of God's promises and demonstrates God's faithfulness to his covenant people in times of trial. Verse 3 in teaching, "And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads." The dragon symbolizes Satan, the adversary opposing God's plan. The 7 heads and 10 horns depict his power over earthly kingdoms, and the crowns indicate his claim to authority within the limits allowed by God. Cross-references include Isaiah 27:1, where God punishes Leviathan the serpent, and Genesis 3:15, where enmity between the serpent and the woman's seed is established. This introduces the cosmic conflict central to Revelation. Verse 4 in teaching, "And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered to devour her child as soon as it was born." This shows Satan's rebellion and influence over a portion of angelic beings, symbolized by the stars. His intent to devour the child highlights his opposition to Christ. Cross-references include Job 1:6-7, demonstrating Satan's access to the heavenly realm, and Revelation 20:2, identifying him as the ancient serpent. God's sovereignty ensures Satan cannot thwart his eternal plan. Verse 5 in teaching, "And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne." The man-child represents Jesus Christ and his eternal reign. The catching up to God shows divine protection and the fulfillment of prophecy. Cross-references include Psalm 2:9, where the Messiah will rule with a rod of iron, and Luke 1:32-33, which foretells Christ's kingdom. This demonstrates God's ability to protect his plan and assures believers that Christ's authority is established despite opposition. Verse 6 in teaching, "And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days." This represents God's protection of Israel and the faithful remnant during times of persecution. Cross-references include Exodus 19:4, where God carries his people on eagle's wings, and Matthew 24:16-21, which speaks of a period of tribulation. The wilderness symbolizes divine preservation away from the enemy's immediate reach, showing God's provision for his covenant people. Verse 7 in teaching, "And there was war in heaven, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels." This depicts the spiritual battle between God's forces and Satan. Michael represents God's authority and leadership over the heavenly armies. Cross-references include Daniel 12:1, where Michael stands for God's people, and Jude 9, which describes Michael contending with Satan. This shows that spiritual warfare is a reality and God's victory is assured. Verse 8 and teaching, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. The dragon and his angels are cast down from heaven, signifying Satan's defeat in the heavenly realm. Cross-references include Isaiah 14:12-15 describing the fall of Lucifer and Revelation 20:1-3 showing Satan's eventual binding. God's sovereignty ensures that evil has limits and ultimate defeat, reinforcing that his plan cannot be overturned by the enemy. Verse 9 and teaching, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. The dragon is identified as Satan, the deceiver of humanity. Cross-references include John 8:44, where he is described as a liar and deceiver, and 2 Corinthians 4:4, which shows him as the god of this world, blinding unbelievers. This highlights the ongoing spiritual opposition faced by God's people on earth. Verse 10 and teaching, and I heard a loud voice saying, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. This proclaims the victory of God and Christ over Satan. Cross-references include 1 Corinthians 15:57 declaring victory through Jesus and Romans 16:20, which promises the crushing of Satan. Believers are assured of God's ultimate triumph and their part in his kingdom. Verse 11 and teaching, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. This highlights the believer's victory over Satan through Christ's sacrifice. Cross-references include 1 John 1:7 showing cleansing by the blood and Ephesians 6:17-18 referencing the word of God as the sword of the Spirit. Faithful endurance and reliance on Christ are essential for victory over spiritual opposition. Verse 12 and teaching, therefore, rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. This shows heaven rejoicing at Satan's defeat while his wrath intensifies on earth. Cross-references include Job 1:12 and Revelation 22-3, showing Satan's limitations and God's timing. Believers must be alert as spiritual opposition increases before ultimate judgment. Verse 13 and teaching, and when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. Satan's wrath turns to the faithful remnant of Israel and the people of God. Cross-references include Matthew 24:9-10 showing persecution of believers and Daniel 7:25 indicating oppression by worldly powers. God's protection remains over his people in spite of Satan's attempts. Verse 14 and teaching, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time, and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. God provides supernatural protection and provision for the woman and faithful remnant. Cross-references include Exodus 19:4, Revelation 12:6, and Daniel 12:7, emphasizing divine timing and preservation. Believers are assured of God's care even amid persecution. Verse 15 and teaching, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. Satan attempts to destroy God's people through overwhelming opposition. Cross-references include Isaiah 59:19 and Matthew 7:24-27, where floods symbolize trials and judgment. God's protection ensures that the faithful are not overcome by the enemy's attacks. Verse 16 and teaching, and the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. God intervenes to protect his people from overwhelming attacks. Cross-references include Exodus 14:21-22, where God delivers his people through the Red Sea, and Psalm 46:1 demonstrating him as a refuge. Believers see that God is actively working to preserve his covenant people. Verse 17 and teaching, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. Satan's wrath focuses on the faithful remnant who obey God and hold the testimony of Jesus. Cross-references include Revelation 14:12, Matthew 5:10-12, and Daniel 7:25, showing persecution of the faithful. God's people endure trials with divine support, highlighting the ongoing spiritual battle until Christ's final victory. Thank you for studying Revelation 12 with us. Remember that God's plan is perfect, and His protection and guidance are always present for those who follow Him. Keep your faith strong, study the scriptures rightly divided, and rely on Christ in all trials. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to stay updated with our future studies.